Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome to our live session today. I thought of coming to you guys and doing some revision session, especially for those of you who are writing their mathematics. So I will be in the next coming few days. I know some of you are writing their mathematics N1, N2 and N3 in the next couple of days following. So I thought of coming to you guys and we do a quick revision, especially when it comes to the first question where most of you always have challenges. So this session is dedicated for those who are writing their mathematics, and today I'm sharing with you mathematics N2. And as you can see, I brought in a past paper. So this is a previous paper that was written, if you can see, this paper was written in 2019. So this is June, on the 26th of July 2019. It's an old paper. So as I say, mathematics N2, and guys, my focus here is on the first question. And of course, there are a few things that I always encourage you guys whenever you are going through your answering to take note of. The first one being, if you are answering your paper, they usually here say show all the intermediate steps and simplify where possible. So it's very important to do that. And then of course you need to use the blue and black ink only, but this part is where most of the students usually leave most of their marks in their rough work. They do their rough work in the question paper and then they don't transfer that work into the answer script. That's why it's very important for me to emphasize that the intermediate steps are very important. So remember that, guys. But as I said, my focus is on question number 1, and I hope you guys are able to see the live streaming. And I just want you to tune in to the next live streaming that I'll be bringing in from 10:30 in the next few coming days, just before the exams begin. So let us look at this question number 1, and then as I said, I just want to focus on the algebra part, question number 1. And this question, it carries good marks, and you can see this is 23 marks, guys. Just think about it, and you don't want to lose 23 marks in your final exam. So you just want to maximize that. By the way, remember, this paper is out of 100 marks, and from these 100 marks, the pass mark is 40 out of 100. So picture if you can get these 23 marks altogether correct, and you'll be left with 17 marks. From the whole paper, you are just left with 17 marks to get a minimum of 40. So just think about it and see that this section of algebra carries good marks. Not only is it on question number 1, it actually continues to question number 2. So if you can do it well again in question number 2, and let me see, the total mark allocation of question number 2 is 19 marks. So if you do question number 1, question number 2, automatically you have passed your exam. So it is very important for you to understand your algebra. Okay, having said that, quickly let's look at this question. I'm just going to be brief in some of the sections, and I will encourage you to always go through our videos on YouTube. Guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, it is a good chance for you to subscribe so that you can actually be able to take advantage of these live sessions that I'm also bringing. And on top of that, there are some videos, lots of videos that I have posted, but unfortunately, if you are not a premium member, you are not able to watch those videos, because it is for those who are the premium members. And what are the premium members? Those are the guys who have subscribed. You can see a certain video says it cannot be watched by everyone, but only for the premium members. So for you to become a premium member, you just need to subscribe, and there is a small fee that you need to pay monthly. You can cancel it anytime without any obligation. So if you feel like you are enough, maybe you have already written your exam and you are no longer using these videos, you can just unsubscribe from the premium membership, and it starts from around 39 Rand or so a month from N1. But the main purpose of those premium members is to support the channel. For example, for me to bring these live videos, there is a lot of resources I have to bring in concerning the live streaming, the equipment that is to be used, the data part of it, that you need some quality data for you to see this kind of video, so that there is no buffering or videos kind of tessellating, you know, all those kind of problems whenever you've got a problem with network. So such guys are helping to sponsor in a way this channel. So if you are benefiting from these channels, I will encourage you to actually consider joining premium membership. Now let's look at this question. It says simplify the following, and in this particular scenario, let me try to work it from here because already I got good space. Now whenever you're dealing with such a question, look at this part. There is the first one. You are given to say you want to simplify that 9x to the power 36 in a square root. Now this square root simple means you put a bracket and it is to the power a half. That is what this square root actually means. So you put a square root and it is to the power a half. And when you are now writing this part to say square root of 9x to the power 36, what this simple means is you put that brackets and then the power. I told you the square root simple means power half. So now again, what does 9 mean? Remember, these are exponents, you have to be using the laws. So 9 is same as 3 squared, so that you can be able to simplify. They need to be 3 squared x to the power of 36. That's what this actually means. Now this power half, it multiplies that and it multiplies it, so the power multiplies the power. So this will simple become like 3 to the power 2 times a half x to the power 36 times a half. You see what it means? And then when you've done that, the half cancels there. You have got 3x. Now the half of 36, I think it's 18. So it's x to the power of 18. So that is what this simplifies. So this will become 3x to the power of 18. So you see how simple sometimes this becomes. It's just a matter of you being able to simplify them in a way. All right, having done that, let me write it down here to say the top part there is 3x to the power of 18. Let's move on. If I'm simplifying this particular part now, this is negative 3x squared, but there is a bracket here to say cubed. So how does this simplify? Remember, if you're not given a power there, it means it's a power half. So the same thing, this particular exponent will multiply that and it multiplies that. So it will be, in a way, what you're having is, now you need to be very careful of this negative part because it's negative 3. So what you're having is negative 3, in this case, 1 times 3. But now, because the negative here is not affecting the power, so it's like you've got negative 1 dot. So you understand? So you don't need to put a bracket in that. So you can just leave it like that. So what you'll be having negative 3, 1 times 3x to the power 2 times 3. When you simplify that, it's negative 3 to the power 3, and then x to the power 2 times 3 is 6. So that is that. So you will have in this scenario here a multiplied by negative 3 to the power of 3 x to the power of 6. So you see that, guys. And then at the bottom, which is the denominator, we are having that part, which is 3 x to the power of 3. It's similar to the one I just did. And then this is to the power of 6. Again, you've got a power there. Whenever you see brackets, it means first you have to deal with brackets. So here it's 3 to the power 1 times 6, x to the power 3 times 6. Are you seeing that? And then this is same as 3 to the power 6, x to the power 6 times 3 is 18. So this is all over 3 to the power of 6, x to the power of 18. And then the last one which also needs some emphasis. If I can just create more space again, look at this other one here. I'm given this part as, all right, when you are given here a cube root, you must know that it means bracket and then it means 1 over 3. Remember I said square root means bracket and it's 1 over 2. So if I put an a root, it means bracket and it means 1 over a. Always remember that. That's what this the root means. So the cube root will automatically mean 1 over 3. So if I'm given here a cube root of negative 27 x to the power 27, see that? So what I have here is put a bracket and then have 1 over 3, and then you've got now 27. Remember, if you take a calculator and quickly check, ask yourself, what is 27? 27 is 3 to the power of 3. If you just remind yourself, it's 3 to the power of 3, it will give you 27. So they always give you these numbers that are easier, or that can be expressed either as a square root or a cube root. So it's minus 3 to the power of 3 x to the power of 27. Remember what I said? This power, it multiplies and it multiplies. You need to do these step by step. Don't just be in a hurry to try to simplify things at once. You usually make some errors. So it's 3 times power 1 over 3 x to the power 27 times to the power 1 over 3. So when you do that, it will then that become negative 3 x. Now 3 into 27 is a 9, so x to the power of 9. So that will be here to say times negative 3 x to the power of 9. So you see how this has been simplified too. Now again, going forward, these are laws of exponents. Now remember, we have a law of exponents. The common law that is being used here is the law that says if you're given a to the power of m times a to the power of n. Now when you see the bases being the same, it means you add these two exponents, you add them. So this becomes a, then you say m plus n. Remember this law. And then we have the division part of it that I'm going to apply. But for now, I just want to apply the law at the top, and I want to apply the same law at the bottom in the denominator. So let's apply it. But how am I applying it? First, let's focus on 3 and 3 in this case. So in here, what I have, I'm going to write to say I have got 3 to the power of 1 times negative 3 to the power of 3, and then times x to the power of 18. See, I'm just regrouping or rearranging this, times x to the power of 6. See what I'm doing? All over, and then I've got 3 to the power of 6 times negative 3. If you just say negative 3, it means there is a hidden 1, times x to the power of 18 times x to the power of 9. So alright, so actually that is that, but you can further continue this to say it's up to you how you would have done that, but I actually see some different ways even of approaching this. For example, you can see that in here I've got x to the power of 18. Look at this. This you can actually take it out because it's similar. And then also the negative sign, look at the negative sign. I've got a negative on top and a negative at the bottom, so the negative will neutralize the negative to give you a positive. I think you can see that. So now when I can apply then the law that I was telling you about here to say this is, see the base is 3, so it's 1 plus 3, because I have to add these two, the exponents, and then it's x to the power of what? Of 6 over, I do the same thing at the bottom, 3 to the power of 6 plus 1, and then it's x to the power of 9. Are you getting that? So 1 plus 3 is 3 to the power of 4 over 3 to the power of 6 plus 1. It's 7, but there is x to the power of 6 and there is x to the power of 9. Now the next part is for me to apply the second law. I can just take this off. Now the second rule or the law says if you are given a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m minus n. It is written usually like this: a to the power of m divided by a to the power of m is equal to that part. That's how they usually write it. So now if I can use the same law here, you can see now I've got 3 to the power of 4 divided by 3 to the power of 7, if you can look at that. So here I can apply that law and say this is the same as saying equal to 3 to the power of 4 minus 7 x to the power of 6 minus 9. Do you see that? So it will be 3 to the power of 4 minus 7, it's negative 3, x to the power 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Now this is the answer, but it's up to you how you want to leave it. There is also another law which says if you're given a to the power negative m is equal to get rid of that negative, you say 1 over a to the power of m. That's how you can get rid of that negative. So I can use the same here to say this is equal to 1 over 3 to the power of 3 x to the power of 3. So if I had worked it properly, this is supposed to be the answer. But how do I usually test it? Okay, before I get the calculator, I usually prefer, as I say to my students, always test your answers. It kind of gives you an assurance that you're in the right direction. I don't want to spend much time here, but it is always good to test your answers. I'm not going to do it for now because there is quite a lot of work to do. But what you do when you're testing here, you do this to say test your answer. Choose any value of x. For example, you can say let x be equal to 4. So wherever there is x, you put 4, you put 4, you put 4, you put 4. You're going to get an answer. You keep that answer. Again, you take the same value of x, come and put it here, where here you are going to have 4. The answer that you got in the top must match the answer that you get at the bottom. If it's like that, it means your answers, your solution is correct. So that is just that. It's 3 marks. I just don't want to waste a lot of time. Let's look at 1.1.2. Says log in base 4 of 64 plus log in base 3 of 1 over 81 plus log in base 2 of 1 over 8 is 3 marks, and they say I need to simplify. Again, let me just work this on here. Guys, don't be in a hurry to try to solve this, especially it's 3 marks. Some students will prefer to do this. Let me show you what they will be tempted to do. They'll just take a calculator and say I can solve it. Then they'll write log base 4 of 64, and then they'll say plus log base 3 of fraction, there it's 1 over 81, and then they continue to say plus log in base 2 of, I think you can see it's 1 over 8. So this is what some of the students will just do, and then they get minus 4. So okay, I know the answer there is negative 4. But guys, you cannot get 3 marks out of that. What you need to do, you need to work smart. 3 marks, meaning you can still use your calculator in a way, in a clever way, you know what I mean? So when you use the calculator in a clever way, I'm saying let the calculator give you the answers and then work towards the answers. For example, what is log 4 of 64? You need to be asking yourself that. You can see that it is 3, and then we'll write 3 there. And then what is log base 3 of 1 over 81? You can see that it's minus 4. So its first one is 3, the other one is minus 4. What is log 2 of 1 over 8? You see that is minus 3. So what we have here, you saw that we had 3, we had minus 4, and then we had 3. So you just have to work and ask yourself, how did the calculator get these numbers? So what you do is, you know, log 4. Now 64, using your calculator, you can it's always linked. These numbers are always linked. Ask yourself, how can I write 64 in terms of 4? Try 4 to the power of 3. Already you know 4 squared is 16, so to the power of 3 is 64. You see that? Again, 81 is always somehow linked to 3. So how do you write it? Try, for example, 3 to the power of 3. See, that is 27. 3 to the power of 4. You don't need to know the numbers exactly. So to the power of 4, it gives me 81. What about 8? See, the base is 2, which means I must express 8 in terms of 2, which is 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So these numbers are always somehow linked. So I know 64 can be written in terms of 2, but avoid 2 because you are given a power of 4 there. So you need to, in a way, work smart. What I can say is, always look where the examiner is taking you. So which means if they gave me a base 4, I must express 64 in terms of 4. So you saw that it was 4 to the power of 3. Again, plus log base 3, 81, you saw that it was 1 over 3 to the power of 4. And then plus log base 2 of 1 over 8, you saw that it was 2 to the power of 3. So we've done that. Now there is a law in logs, and these things, exponents, logarithms, they base on laws. So the law, it says, if I can put the laws that I'm going to use here, there is a law which says if I'm given log in base a, and then I have got m to the power of n, see that? Now this particular n will go down to become the n log base a of m. Remember this law. And then the second one that is going to be used here is if you are given log base a of the number a, if the base and the number are matching, you must know that that is equal to 1. So those are the two laws that they want to you to use there. So the first one here, you can see the 3 will go down there to become 3 log base 4 of 4, plus again, okay, I didn't finish actually all the laws. There is another law which says if I'm given log 1 over, for example, 2, let me use a to the power of m, see that is equal to, I can write this with the laws of exponents. Remember, it's same as log a to the power. Now if this goes to the top, it's actually the laws of exponents. I use this one, is minus m, so it becomes negative m. So here this power, if I want to take 3 to the power 4 to the top, it will become log base 3. Because of the division sign, it will be 3 to the power of negative 4. Just remember that. If I want to get rid of this division line, I put a negative there. Okay guys, and then plus log in base 2, I do the same thing there. 2 to the power of 3, I want it to be on top, so it will be 2 to the power negative 3. Are you seeing that? Now I'm using then this particular law after that to say if the base and the number are matching. Here, look at this, 4, 4, so it's 3. Now the 3 here is multiplying, so it's 3 times 1 plus, again, actually before I do that, still fine, let's leave it like that. Now this negative 4 will drop down to become, I need to use a negative now, it's minus 4 log base 3 of 3, plus again this negative 3 will drop down to become minus 3. So I can actually remove this particular positive because the negative is more powerful, is minus 3 log base 2 of 2. So now look at this again, the same law will apply here, giving us 1. So it's 3 times 1 here minus 4 times 1 minus 3 times 1. So when you simplify this, 3 times 1, this will cancel that. You can see it's minus 4 times 1 is negative 4. This is what the answer was given in that sense. So that is how some of these questions are simplifying that. Okay guys, I won't take long on that. Look at this one. I don't know why they gave it more marks. It means you need to be very sensitive in this question. It says log base 3 bracket log base 2 of 8 to the power of negative 1. Don't get scared of such questions. You just need to ask yourself, what laws can I use? For example, let me focus on what is inside the bracket. Of course, you need to focus on the exponent, but I see two ways of doing this one. Let's focus what is inside the bracket, because there is always something that is common. Look at this. Log, or before we do that, let's find the answer. It's always good with your calculator, work towards the answer. But remember, there is not even a single mark you're going to get when you just use your calculator. Let's do it. So it's log base 3. There is the bracket. Again, I put a log base 2, 8. Alright. So I must be very sensitive in the way I put that. So that is that. And then, because if you punch it wrong, these things end up giving you wrong answers, like that to the power negative 1. I'm getting a 1. I hope I did punch this right. So let's try to get a 1 in this. So this is that. How did the calculator get a 1? So you know that you're working towards 1. So let's try it. Log base 2 of 8. I'm doing the bracket first. As we did using the law, we say this is same as log base 2. 8 is 2 to the power of 3, guys, which is equal to, take that 3 to the front, which is 3 times log base 2 of 2. Now 2 of 2 is same as 1. Remember, this is 3 times 1, and the answer here becomes simple what? 3. So far so good, we are done. Now, which means this you can now rewrite it as is the same now to say log base 3 of 3 to the power negative 1. Are you seeing that? That is what simple means. Now it now simplifies so easily, because at the end of the day I can take this negative 1, drop it at the bottom so that I've got minus 1 log in base 3 of 3. Now log base 3 of 3, you know what it is. It is 1. So the answer is simple minus 1. I don't know why the calculator gave me a 1, but let me try it again to see if ever I didn't make an error. We said what? Log base 3. As I said, the challenge here is it will open its own bracket, so you need just to be careful in the way it does. So I've got log, alright, base 2, and then I've got 8. I think the power is supposed to be there to the power negative 1. You see, I put it on the outside, but if I put it on the inside, it's negative 1. Do you see how this you need to be sensitive, because the calculator just opens its own bracket. If I put it here and say to the power negative 1, I'm still getting a 1, but let me play back here and just put it inside here to the power negative 1. See, you just have to be sensitive with the way the calculator does it. But even here, someone will be tempted to say, but 3 to the power negative 1, you could have taken it other way around to say, what if I wrote it like this? Log 3 base 3 to the power negative 1 is same as saying log base 3 1 over 3. Remember, that is 3 to the power negative 1. It's still the same. You can apply the logs. If it's division, it means log base 3 of 1. Division means minus log base 3 of 3. So you know that log 1 is always 0. Log 1 or log any base, for example, you can say log base a of 1 is a log is equal to 0. as long as log 1. So even here, this will become 0. We have got minus log base 3 of 3, see that, which is negative 1. So whatever case, you're still getting the answer is negative 1. Alright guys, so that was 4 marks. As I said, I don't know why they gave it in a way 4 marks, but I hope, I think it was kind of because of this confusion that students would have made. Okay, number 1.2, it's an important one, this one guys. I will encourage you to master this. Just watch how I'm going to solve this one, because most students also, they struggle when it comes to using natural logs. It says use natural logarithms to calculate the numerical value of the following. When they say natural logarithms, they mean ln, so you must use ln. Don't use logs because it's not natural logarithms. Natural logarithms means you need to use ln. So what are they saying there if you're saying use natural logarithms? I'll just work from it here. So you're given this part. So the first thing that you do, introduce the natural logarithms on both sides. Where there is a, you just now say ln a is equal to, on the right hand side also put ln. You write everything as is. That's what you do in the first part. 1,15 squared times square root of 5,4 over 6,21. That is what you do. Just introduce ln. That's the natural logarithms. Then when you are at this stage, you need to now use the laws of natural logarithms. Don't be confused about this word natural logarithms. Just simply use the laws of logs. That's all. The only difference between logs and ln, let me come back to that to say, if you are saying log, the power, if it's on its own, if you don't put any power, if I say log 4, the default is 10. If I say ln 4, the default is e. So just the only difference there is you are working with base 10, you are working with e. And if you look at the calculator actually does have ln, you see. So the moment I say ln, it means there is a hidden what? There is a hidden e. And in the calculator, the moment I say log here, it means there is a hidden 10. So you must always understand, but the laws are identical. So what you do is you continue with the left hand side as ln a, continue with it. You also write here as the ln. Now you need to kind of simplify some things. First thing is this square root. Remember, the square means there is a power 2. So you first simplify that. It will be, let me just use something much straighter if I can have that. So what you'll be having on top is 1,15 squared times, now the square root, remember you put a bracket, it's 5,4 and then it's power 1 over 2, remember that, over 6,21. Right, again I forgot something, and you know what I forgot? I forgot to first use my calculator, because the calculator will always give me the answer. Let's find the final answer this before we work towards it. Before we do any working, always use your calculator. The calculator will just give us the answer, but they don't want you to use the calculator. Remember, you won't get any marks. So if I say 1,15 squared times square root of 5,4, and then I'm saying over 6,21. So this is what I'm having. The calculator will give me an answer is 0,49. If I'm leaving, I think the answers are supposed to be left with 3 decimal places. If they didn't explain, we'll check the instructions again, but usually it's 2 or 3 decimal places. So if I leave this to 3 decimal places, it's 0,4948. 8 will change the 4 to become 495. But you can, if you can round off with the calculator, by the way, you say shift setup, then you come to number 6 there, fix. So you say 6. Remember, I want fix between 0 and 9. I want to fix it to 3 decimal places. So you say 3. So there it is. It is rounded off to 3 decimal places, which is 0,495. So the answer is 0,495. Guys, that's what I need to get on this. But in this case, I'm using natural logarithms. So I continue with my ln A is equal to ln. Now I'm applying the laws. How do you apply the laws of logarithms? When it's multiplying, you know that in the laws of logarithms you add. So what you have is ln 1,15 to the power of 2 plus, because of the times, ln 5,4 to the power 1 over 2. The division line means minus ln 6,21. That's all that you need to know. When it's division, you subtract. When it's multiplication, you add. These are the laws of logarithms. Again, you continue. Ln A is equal to, remember, the power 2 drops down, the half drops down. So that's what you do. So it's 2 ln 1,15 plus 1 over 2, in a way, remember, it's multiplying, times ln 5,4 minus ln 6,21. That's what we're saying. Now, by the way, you are supposed to use a calculator at this stage. So you've got 2 times, then you find what is ln 1,15. You can, since you are working your answer to 3 decimal places, you can leave your answers to 4 decimal places so that when you round off, it becomes 3 decimal places. So you come and say ln 1,15. You need to definitely use a calculator here. If I leave it to 4 decimal places, it's 0,1398. Remember, shift 6 and 4 decimal place is 0,1398. So 0,1398, and then plus 1 over 2 times, again I say ln 5,4. It will also give me the answer there in 3 decimal places. Shift number 6 to 4 decimal places. It's 1,6864. So 1,6864 minus the last one is ln 6,21. So ln 6,21, and then I'm getting 1, if I round it off again to 4 decimal place, 1,8262. 1,8262. At this stage, guys, I still continue. Ln A is equal to, you multiply that by 2. You know, I think you can see I'm still relying on the calculator, but I'm using the laws. So 2 times 0,1398, it gives me 0,2796. So it's 0,2796. But actually, let me not make this thing too long out of nothing. At this stage, you are allowed to literally use your calculator throughout now. So it's fine for me to come and say here 2 times 0,1398. You can do that and say plus half, which is 1 over 2, times 1,6864. See what I'm doing now? I'm going straight, minus 1,8262. This is allowed because you need to get in this case the final answer. You press SD, it's negative 0,7034. So it's negative 0,7034. At this stage, you need, actually there's if you remember, I was already using the ln. So at this stage, it is now you to find the final answer. I say to you, whenever you are given ln here, you must know the default base. The default base is what? It's e. So ln in base e of a. That you need to remember. So how do I then get my a? Because the question was, use natural logarithms to calculate the numerical value of the following. So they want the value of a, and we know that is 0,495. So how do you get it? You say a is equal to, you take that e to the power negative 0,7034. That's how you write the final answer, equal to. Again, the calculator is your guide to go here. So it will give you, in a way, the final answer. So how do you find the e? It is shift e, and then you've got negative 0,7034. Seeing that, equal to, there the answer is, it's 0, let's compare it with what we have, it's 0,494899. Shift set up to 3 decimal places, there it is 0,495, what we just got, which is equal to 0,495. So as I'm saying, guys, know where you are going. Don't just answer for the sake of answering. You get your answer, you are satisfied with the answer which you would have actually tested with the calculator. So you can see that almost in all these, I can actually use my calculator to first find the answer and then work towards that particular answer. Alright, so 1.3, I'm just about to finish now. I know it's late, but just keep with me. I'm just wrapping this up. So solve for x in the following equations, and I'm given that. Again, it's how many marks? This is 3 marks, so I don't think it was much of a problem there. But first things first, 1 over 4, you needed to know that 1 over 4 is same as saying 1 over 2 squared, you see, which you take it to the top, it's 2 to the power of negative 2. Such things you need to know. Secondly, square root of 2. I told you square root means bracket. There is a hidden 2 there. So you have got 2 to the power 1 over 2. You can just simply write it like this, 2 to the power 1 over 2. You understand? So these things, you need to already have them. So if I write it again, 8 is same as, if I say to you 8, you need to see already 4, I have transformed it in terms of 2. Square root of 2 is now in terms of 2, which means I must also change 8 to the power of x into a base of 2. So 8 is same as 2 to the power of 3. So that's the 8. But you put a bracket, you put the x there. Are you seeing that? So when you write this, you're going to say, so that you don't lose marks, you're going to say 2 to the power of 3 bracket x is equal to 1 over 2 to the power of 2 times 2 to the power of 1 over 2. That's the first important step. Then you know these two, they multiply. So 2 to the power of 3x is equal to 2 to the power of negative 2 times 2 to the power 1 over 2. See that you are simple using now, it's an equation, but the laws of exponents are very, very valid in that case. Now look at this other part. So 2 to the power of 3x, it remains as is, but you need to focus here. The base is the same, so you need to add the exponents. Remember the first law that I did give you. I said here, if you're given a to the power of m times a to the power of n, bases are the same. This is equal to a to the power of m plus n. So even here, the base is 2 and 2. So it's 2 to the power minus 2 plus 1 over 2. I think that. So you've got 2 to the power of 3x is equal to, just to continue working on this, it will give us minus 2 plus half. I think it's negative 1.5, but let me just use a calculator. I always try to use my calculator as much as I can to avoid my general knowledge, because you exhaust your mind if you try to work mentally. Just rely on the calculator, because there is a long way to go. Remember, you are in question number 1, so you don't want to start using your mind to be calculating what is minus half times plus half, minus 2 plus half. Your mind is thinking, but already you are exhausting your mind. So some of these things, just punch the calculator, it's still fine. So you see the answer is negative 3 over 2. So it's 2 to the power negative 3 over 2. Now, an important law here you're going to apply. And the law says, when you are given like this, if you are given a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n. If the bases are the same, you also equate the exponents. So these two, you put an equal sign. So therefore it means m is equal to n. Look at this, the bases are the same, therefore it means that is equal to that. So how do you write it then? We are going to say 3x is equal to minus 3 over 2. That's what it means. And then the only thing there is simpler, just solve for x. How do you solve for x? You divide by x. So you can divide by 3, you divide by 3. Again, just rely on the calculator. X is equal to, but you need to be sensitive how you punch this. Sometimes students get confused on how they do this. So first thing first, you have that fraction, it's negative, then you've got that. You see the fraction where it is? It's 3 over 2, that is on top, divided, that is the one that is divided by 3. This is equal to negative half. Don't do like this. They see two division lines, they press. You're going, that is fine, but sometimes you need just to be careful. I see that the bigger one is at the bottom, so it will be negative 3 over 2. This one works well, over 3. It works well, but I will show you some other time whereby it's not proper for you to, for example, if I give you and say work for me something like this, 3 over 2 over 3. You see the fraction now is opposite. So if you do that now, you're going to get it wrong. Look at this. If you say the way to punch this is 3 over, then at the bottom, that's where I put my fraction. Then I've got 2 over 3. So you see how it's like, that's the right one. It's 9 over 2. But if you just do this, you see, like this to say fraction, you're going to say 3 over 2 over 3, and then when you do that, this time now you are not going to get it right, because at the end of the day it's not going to give us C, it's now giving us a half. So you need just to be careful. So the answer, the previous answer, if you remember, it was minus 1 over 2. So if I take that answer here, you definitely need to prove this. If I put minus 1 over 2 here to say what is 8 to the power negative 1 over 2, it must give me this 1 over 4 square root of 2. So I just need to know my left hand side and I just need to know my right hand side. So if I say 8 to the power of negative 1, let me do this to say negative 1 over 2. If I do this, I'm getting a funny answer. I use 0.3535. Remember this answer. I do also the other side, 1 over 4 times square root of 2. It must give me that 0.3535. 0.3535. You see, the left hand side, the right hand side balances. It's correct. Guys, test your answers. Test your answers. You're guaranteed of the 23 marks. Let's finish up with this 1.4. And then we call it a day. Remember again to tune in. I'll be also giving some live session again on these coming days before your final exam. And then the last one says we are given this information. We are given Z is blah 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 blah. We are given the value of R, the value of Z, and the value of W. These are common questions. First they will say make L the subject of the formula. So what you're given is Z is equal to the American called Z. So Z is equal to R squared plus W squared L squared. We call it Z. They call it Z. Okay, let me make Z the subject. L the subject of the formula. First things first, I need to get rid of that square root. What do? Put a bracket, and to get rid of the square root there, you need to square there. But what you do on the left, you also do on the right. So now it will be Z squared is equal to, because of that, now you have dropped the square root, is R squared plus W squared L squared. That's what you just did. The next things, there is a plus sign here. It means the R can join the Z squared. So Z squared minus R squared is equal to W squared L squared. This is just I always see this algebra as one of the most important ways of learning your algebra. Now W and L they are multiplying, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So which means to get rid of w squared, I must divide by w squared. Why? Because it was multiplication. Here it was addition, you see, opposite was subtraction. So always remember that. But what you do on the left, you also do on the right. Why? So that you can get rid of that. So you have got z squared minus r squared over w squared is equal to L squared. The next thing is for me to get rid of the square. To get rid of the square, remember, to get rid of the square root, I squared. But to get rid of the square, you square root. That is just the opposite. See what I'm doing? But what I do on the left, I do on the right. But here, you are allowed to say plus or minus. It's a lesson for another day. But you can leave your answer like that to say the answer is plus or minus, because that square and the square root will cancel out. It will be square root of z squared minus r squared over w squared is equal to L. And then the question is not done. That is how you get your first 4 marks. So you get the first 4 marks. Then the last part of it says 1.4.2 says calculate the value now of L. Remember, they gave you some information to say in here. R is 12, so here you have got 12 squared, and then Z is 90, there you have got 90 squared, and then W is 120, so you have got 120 squared. So that is basically what you'll be having here. I was just writing it down so that it will be easier for me to follow up. So if I can finalize it here, I will have 90 squared. Actually, I must write it. This is my L is equal to 90 squared. It's just 2 marks. Minus 12 squared over 120 squared. Don't overthink it. Don't start to make it in a way like long and stuff. Just go straight to your calculator and it will just give you your answer. You understand? So if I can just grab my calculator here and then see what it gives me. Just a moment. Okay, there it is. So I have 90 squared minus 12 squared all over 120 squared is equal to this is 221 over 400. You can put it to 2 decimal places, I mean to SD, to say 0.5525. So 3 decimal places is 0.55. It was 5525, which then becomes 0.553. That is to 3 decimal places if ever you are leaving your answers to 3 decimal places. So guys, this is question number 1.